Today's lesson is called Plus Talk, Talking to the Bank. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
I'm Roger, and we all need to use the bank from time to time. So, of course, we need to open an account, and sometimes we need to transfer money from overseas. That's what Chloe was asking about last time. But today she's got some more concerns. She wants to know how to report suspicious activity and how to close an account. That will happen one day when you move to another city or when you decide to bank at a different bank. You need to close that account. But first, what she's going to do is report that suspicious activity. Unfortunately, there are lots of scammers out there who try to get your money, and they try to rob you and cheat you and stuff like that. So again, if that happens, you need to report suspicious activity.
Yes, identity theft is a big deal these days. People can steal your personal data online or something like that, and they can steal from you. They can steal your credit card number or your debit card number and then use that information to either steal money from you directly or to buy stuff. It has happened to me a couple of times. Luckily, I have a bank that is quite good with detecting this type of activity and actually catching this before it happens. They notice the suspicious activity, they alert me, and I tell them, nope, cancel that immediately. That transaction was not me, or I was not behind that particular transaction. That's an unauthorized transaction. Anyways, part 3 of this month's Plus Talk dialogue will be all about reporting suspicious activity. Chloe will be calling the bank. And yes, we'll hear from Chloe once again right after a short break.
3. Reporting suspicious activity. Chloe calls the bank's customer service line to report an unauthorized transaction.
Thanks for calling. How may I help?
I'd like to report some suspicious activity on my debit card.
Understood. Can you elaborate a little for me, please?
Well, I get alerts sent to my cell phone whenever I make purchases with the card. I received an alert earlier today, but I haven't used this card in a month.
That sounds like an unauthorized transaction. We can put a temporary freeze on your account while we look into it. We might have to cancel the card and issue a new one.
Okay, I'll wait to hear back from you before I do anything else. Thanks very much.
大家好，第一部分我们看到形容词 suspicious 指可疑的、怀疑的，像是 A suspicious man was seen at the crime scene 一名可疑男子被看见出现在犯罪现场，或是 Josh became suspicious when Denise wouldn't tell him where she was going Denise 不肯告诉 Josh 他要去哪里，引起了 Josh 的怀疑。另外，这个字的字尾加上 ly 就成了副词 suspiciously 指可疑的、怀疑的。例如 The policeman listened suspiciously as the man explained how the accident happened. 警察怀疑地听着那个人解释意外是怎么发生的。再来，我们看到单字 transaction 这个字是名词，意思是交易。例如All the transactions I made at the hotel were recorded on the receipt. 我在饭店里所做的交易都记录在收据上。另外，这个字去掉字尾 ion 就成了动词 transact 指交易、办理业务。举例来说 The startup company only transacts its business online. 那家新创公司只做网络交易。接下来我们看到动词 elaborate 指详细说明、阐述，像是 I'm not sure I completely understand your point.Can you elaborate? 我不确定我有没有完全听懂你说的话，可以请你详细说明一下吗？另外，除了上面的意思，这个字还可以当形容词，念作 elaborate， 有以下2种用法。第一，指精心制作的，像是 The walls of the restaurant were decorated with elaborate, colorful patterns. 那家餐厅的墙面以色彩缤纷的图案精心装饰。第二，指繁复、详尽的。举例来说John has thought of an elaborate plan for his marriage proposal. John 为了求婚想到了一个详尽的计划。
Okay, so this is part 3 of our conversation in which we talk to people who work in the bank when we have different kinds of questions about the services that banks offer. Okay, so now Chloe probably suspects that someone is tinkering with her bank account. They're kind of messing around with it. They're trying to cheat her out of her money. So she's going to be reporting suspicious activity. So here, suspicious means you kind of suspect that that person is up to no good, okay? They are not up to anything good. They're trying to cheat you and things like that. So yes, if something happens on your computer or in your bank account and it's something that normally does not happen, you could say that that is very suspicious activity. It might be trouble.
So Chloe calls the bank's customer service line to report an unauthorized transaction. So maybe she's checking it online or on her smartphone and she says, "Hey, I didn't buy that. I didn't spend this money at this place. What is going on?" So she goes ahead and she calls the bank and she wants to report or tell the bank about this. There has been an unauthorized transaction using my account. By the way, if you authorize something, that means you're behind it. You're okay with it. If you go to a car dealership and you buy a car and you write out the check for the amount of money that the car costs, and then you sign that check with your name, you are authorizing that transaction. You're saying it's okay to use my money in the bank to buy this car. I'm buying this car with my money. This is an authorized transaction. But sometimes people use your money and you say, "Hey, that's not okay. I didn't authorize that transaction." And in that situation, that is an unauthorized transaction. By the way, a transaction, if we're talking about an instance where some business has been transacted or done.
That's right, an unauthorized transaction. So maybe you are an accountant for a publishing company or something, and you notice that a purchase was made by the company to buy 500 reams of paper or something like that, and you're thinking, nobody told me that we could make that purchase. That was an unauthorized purchase. Nobody approved of that purchase. Somebody in the company must be stealing money or trying to get free paper or whatever the case might be. So Chloe does notice some suspicious activity. She's calling to report this unauthorized transaction, and she's talking to the customer service representative, who begins the conversation by saying, "Thanks for calling. How may I help?" So Chloe is making a telephone call here, and she says, "I'd like to report some suspicious activity on my debit card," which is a card that you can use when you make a purchase. It will directly deduct the money from your account when you make that purchase.
This is kind of scary because money is being taken out of your checking account. This is not a good thing. Now, the customer service representative says, "Understood. Can you elaborate a little for me, please?" i.e., can you tell me more? Okay, sometimes people will ask you to elaborate on something. That just means tell me more, give me some more details, all right? That's what it means to elaborate on something, okay? So you start by giving someone a general idea or a premise or something like that, and then you give them details to fill in this particular picture or to make the picture clearer.
Yep, I'd like to buy a new bicycle. Well, can you elaborate? What kind of bicycle do you want to buy? A mountain bike, a road bike, a commuter bike? How many gears do you want? Do you want it a steel frame or aluminum or carbon fiber? Yes, please elaborate. Please give me some details. That's what the customer service representative wants to know. And here's what Chloe says. She she elaborates. She says, I get alerts sent to my cell phone whenever I make purchases with the card. Yes, I think we all have had this happen to us when we do something, when we log on to Line on our PC or something. At least this happens to me. Then I get an alert on my cell phone. I hear a little alarm on my cell phone which says that somebody has checked into my Line account from a different device. So that's an alert. It's kind of like an alarm, a signal to let you know something is going on.
Exactly. I get alerts from CNBC all the time. I don't know why either. I don't really follow business news all the time, but I downloaded this app, and now whenever something happens with the Dow Jones or with the S&P 500 or with global financial markets, I get an alert. Okay, my phone buzzes and a little screen pops up and it tells me that this or that has happened in this part of the world. I get an alert. It drives me nuts. I should probably turn that off at some point. Anyways, here Chloe says that she gets alerts sent to her cell phone whenever she makes purchases with the card, which makes sense. Okay, this is a good way to keep track of what you buy. Then she says, I received an alert earlier today, but I haven't used this card in a month. So this is strange. Whenever she uses the card, she gets an alert. But she hasn't used the card in a month, and she's getting alerts, or she's getting an alert. That means something fishy is going on.
Yep, she's suspecting some suspicious activity. And the representative says, that does sound like an unauthorized transaction. It is suspicious activity. We can put a temporary freeze on your account while we look into it. So freeze here can be both a noun and a verb. If you put water into your freezer, that water will freeze. It will turn to ice. But here, a freeze is when you stop all activity on an account so that scammer cannot get any more money than he already has.
There you go, a temporary freeze. Hey, that card, it can't be used for a little while. Not permanently. We're not shutting the card off forever. But for now, we're going to look into things and temporarily freeze your account. And it says we might have to cancel the card and issue a new one, i.e., if someone has gotten a hold of your information or something really bad has gone on, we might have to just go ahead, cancel your card, and give you a new one so as to make sure that everything is totally safe on your end. And Chloe says, okay, I'll wait to hear back from you before I do anything else. Thanks very much. Anyways, that's it for now. But when we come back, we'll start reading from part 4 of this month's Plus Talk dialogue. It's called Closing an Account.
4. Closing an account. Chloe visits the bank to close her account. Hi, I'd like to close my account, please.
No problem. Would you like the balance to be transferred to another account, or would you prefer cash?
I've opened another account elsewhere. A transfer would be great.
Okay. Have you ensured that any automatic payments associated with the account have been stopped?
Yes, I had an automatic payment into the account, but I canceled it already.
Great. Before we continue, you'll need to fill out this account closure request form. Check here if you want us to provide a written notice once the account has been closed.
第二部分我们看到单字 ensure 这个字是动词，指确保、保证。例如 Alan packed a lunch to ensure he wasn't hungry while traveling by train. Alan 带了午餐，以确保他搭火车旅行时不会饿。或是 Alice ensured that she would be at the front of the line by arriving early. Alice 保证她会早点到，好排在前面。另外，补充一个同义用词 make sure， 像是 We must make sure the product is completely safe before we release it on the market. 让这项产品上市前，我们必须确保它非常安全。 最后我们看到名词 closure 指关闭、结束、终止，像是 I felt shocked when I heard the closure of my favorite restaurant. 当我听到我最爱的餐厅要关闭的消息时，感到很震惊。
Okay, Chloe has done a lot of things with this particular bank account, but she wants to move on now. She's maybe going to move to another city, or she's just simply found another bank that she likes better. So today, she's going to close her account. And yes, indeed, she visits the bank to do just that. She wants to close her account. She begins the conversation with the bank teller. She says, "Hi, I'd like to close my account, please." Some people might say close out my account. Both are acceptable. The teller says, no problem. You can do that. I'm not going to give you any hassles about closing your account. And the teller says, would you like the balance to be transferred to another account, or would you prefer cash? So she still has some money in that account. That is the balance. Maybe she still has maybe $50 in there or something like that. But the teller wants to know what they should do with that remaining money. Do you want the cash, or should we just transfer that money to another account in a different bank?
There you go. Chloe says, I've opened another account elsewhere, so a transfer would be great. And the bank teller says, okay, have you ensured that any automatic payments associated with the account have been stopped? I.e., if you have any automatic payments associated with this account and they start pinging the account, that could be a problem. Like I do have automatic payments, okay, associated with my bank here in Taiwan for my electricity bill. Every month, my electricity bill is paid automatically. The electricity company contacts my bank and takes the money directly out of my account. Now, if I were to close that account, the electricity company would go to that account the next month and say, all right, we need to subtract a certain amount of money from that account. But if the account is closed, the electricity company is going to say, hey, wait a minute, we're supposed to get our money. What is going on? So the bank teller is just telling Chloe, make sure that if you do have any automatic payments associated with your account, that you close those, or you stop them, I should say. By the way, the bank teller uses the word insure. If you insure something, you make sure that that thing happens. You kind of guarantee that that thing has happened or will happen.
Right, so she needs to contact various companies, the electricity company, water, gas, maybe cable TV, and make sure those accounts have been closed. And Chloe says, yes, I had an automatic payment into the account, but I canceled it already. So I guess she only had one automatic payment that she was making from that account, and now she needs to make some arrangements at her new bank. And the teller says, great, wonderful, fantastic. Before we continue, you'll need to fill out this account closure request form. Yeah, when you have stuff done at the bank, of course, you need to fill out various forms. This one is a closure request form. Closure is the act of closing your account. You need to fill out this request form in order to close your account.
Anyways, next, the bank teller says, check here if you want us to provide a written notice once the account has been closed. And I would check that box. That's a good document to have. Anyways, folks, with that, this month's Plus Talk dialogue is now in the books, and the Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在第一部分的对话里面， Chloe 拨打银行客服专线要回报一笔未经授权的交易。好，文中是用到 transaction 来指交易，那它是来自动词 transact T-R-A-N-S-A-C-T。 好，那我们来学习它的字首字根哦。好，首先看到 ACT 或是 ag 或是 ig 这一类的字根呢，它带有行动、驱使、付诸行动或是起作用等等的意思。那么其中的 act， 它到了15、16世纪开始用在剧场和议会啊、议院当中，就分别表达了这种表演啊和法令的意思。那么在 transact 这个字当中，它的字首 trans 有这种 through 透过的意思。那么 act 表示行动，合在一起 transact 就是表达办理、处理交易的意思咯。好，顺便补充几个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 react，R-E-A-C-T， 它的字首 R-E 表示回复，那么字根 A-C-T 表示起作用，那么合在一起 react 它就有反应、回应或是起化学反应的意思了。第二个补充的是 activate，A-C-T-I-V-A-T-E， 它的字根 A-C-T 表示行动，IVE 是形容词字尾，那因为后面它还要再接一个 ATE 的字尾，所以这个 IVE 的 E 就被省略了。好，那么我们刚刚说到这个 ATE 的字尾呢，它是动词字尾，表示使什么什么的意思。组合在一起呢 activate 它字面意思就是使什么行动，应该就可以联想到 activate 它有启动、活化或是使什么活动、活跃的意思了。第三个补充的是 navigate，N-A-V-I-G-A-T-E。好，它的字首 NAV 有船的意思，字根 IG 表示行动，那么 ATE 是动词字尾，合在一起 navigate 就有航行、导航的意思咯。那么第二部分的对话里面呢 Chloe 她想要关闭账户，银行行员就问她说是否已经确保跟这个账户有关的自动付款都已经停止了。文中是用到动词 ensure， 它表示确保、保证。这个字呢就跟 INSURE 这个字的发音一样，都是 ensure， 那么它又跟 ASSURE 都一样，有那种保证的意思。好，我们来区分一下这三个动词的差异哦。首先 ensure ENSURE 它表示确保、保证、担保，那么用法是 ensure 加上名词或 that 子句。好，那么它就可以用来表达说确保某事它会恰当的发生实现。例如I'll ensure that everyone knows when and where the meeting will be held. 我会确保所有的人都知道这个会议的时间和地点。好，那么 ensure INSURE 则是表达为什么来投保，后面是直接接受词来表达投保的对象。例如 insure your car against theft 就是表达帮车子来投保窃盗险了。好，再来看 assure ASSURE， 这是指向某人保证说某事会发生，它带有那种使人安心放心的语义。那么常用的句型是 assure somebody 加上 that 子句。例如 I can assure you that your pet will be well cared for， 我可以跟你保证你的宠物一定会被妥善照顾的，不用担心。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Suspicious. A suspicious man was seen outside Marty's house last night. Elaborate. After the presentation, Claire was asked to elaborate on some of the points she had made. Alert. The government sent out an alert informing people about the virus. Ensure. We work hard to ensure the safety of all our passengers.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you guys enjoyed reading and learning along with us. I am Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.